Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be doing a breakdown of probably the most interesting controller Fortnite player in the game right now, Mohammed SR4. In case you haven't heard of Mohammed before, the first time he popped up on the radar was when he finished second in a console cash cup towards the end of Chapter 1. And even though that's obviously a great achievement, the real reason he gained recognition from that was because a random YouTuber uploaded a video that got 400,000 views titled "This Guy Got Second Place in the Console Cash Cup," and he basically created a compilation of some not so great plays he made. However, over the past weekend, Mohammed achieved something truly incredible. He was one of 7 players who double qualified for DreamHack finals on both NA East and EU, and he was the only controller player to do so as well. The thing about Mohammed is, he still uses hold to edit, his sensitivity values are some of the weirdest I've ever seen, he switches weapons by using his Y/triangle button instead of R1 and L1, and even though his mechanics are solid, they're still considerably worse than most other pro-level controller players. Based on just the eye test, he looks like nothing more than a regular above-average player, and certainly not someone who would ever double qualify for the finals of a major event. And that leads me to the real reason I want to do this breakdown of Mohammed. It's because he's the greatest player I've ever seen when it comes to abusing aim assist, and I truly mean that as a major compliment. Just by watching him play for a couple of hours, I was able to pick up some things about taking advantage of aim assist that I'd never realized before, and I want to share those with you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing you need to know about Mohammed as a player is that other than off spawn pretty much, he almost always decides to not use a shotgun. I don't mean that he doesn't only use some type of shotgun or he waits until he gets a high rarity one. No shotguns at all. The regular inventory that you'll see him rocking with the vast majority of the time is regular AR/SCAR, P90, and then either 3 healing items or 2 healing items and the grappler. So now that you know all that, let's get into more depth about how he has so much success by taking advantage of aim assist. Alright, so Mohammed's general strategy when it comes to aim assist abuse is not too much different than most controller players. He wants to get into your box, get into your face, and turn as many fights as possible into point-blank range spray battles. However, most controller players will try to at least get some chip damage with their shotgun first. They want to hit them for at least 50 to 60 damage so they know the enemy is at least somewhat weak, then they're gonna go in and try to get the cleanup. And I think one of the main reasons for doing that is because it can be really hard to kill a 200 health player with just an SMG. You only have 30 to 35 bullets that do about 20 damage each, and if you can't secure the kill in that initial clip, you're probably gonna have to reload and give your enemies a chance to get away. The main way that Mohammed avoids this problem is by frequently using his AR as a second SMG. Like I said, the 30 to 35 bullets of an SMG alone to kill a full health player can be a little iffy at times. But if you involve your AR as well, you basically double your total amount of shots. I actually calculated it, and if you have a P90 and a fully auto AR, you can spray both weapons for a combined 9 seconds straight before you'd need to reload. That's plain and simple an insane amount of time. Here's a clip where, despite Mohammed having really poor aim at first, and it seems like he's just spraying forever, but when he does eventually secure the kill, he still had over 20 bullets left in his SCAR, so he was good for at least another 3 to 4 seconds. And when it comes to the SCAR especially, DPS and bullet spread wise, it really isn't even that much worse than an SMG. So even if you still choose to use a shotgun, which most people definitely will, and I'd probably recommend that, there's still an important lesson to be learned here. If you run out of bullets in a close range fight where you're in a good position, instead of disengaging to reload, just use your AR as a secondary SMG. If you can barrel stuff the enemy with it, it'll still deal incredibly reliable spray damage. The next thing I want to discuss is something very interesting that Mohammed does to take advantage of aim assist once he gets into an enemy's box. So as great as it is once you get into someone's 1x1, no player that's even half decent at the game is just going to let you run into their body and barrel stuff them to death. Most players are going to immediately build a ramp between you and them, and that ramp serves two pretty obvious purposes. First off, it hopefully is going to block your SMG bullets, and second, it enables them to try and sprint up the ramp to edit out the roof of the box. That's something that a lot of inexperienced barrel stuffers can really struggle with, but a pro like Mohammed has a perfect way to counter it. So first off, anytime a ramp gets placed, he's going to immediately spray it, because priority number one in this situation is to prevent the enemy from getting high enough up the ramp to where they can edit out the top. But when he's spraying the ramp, he does something very subtle that I now realize is kinda genius. He doesn't spray the ramp while looking forward or a little towards the ground, which is what most people do. He instead angles his crosshair upwards to where he's shooting towards the middle/top of the ramp and actually somewhat tracking the enemy through it. What I now realize this does is it makes it so that as soon as the ramp is destroyed, he's gonna immediately get the super strong point blank range aim assist on that player. So as long as he keeps spraying, which he does every time, it allows him to sneak bullets through the ramp, get past the ramp himself to phase through it, and also when the enemy falls, he ends up right in Mohammed's face. Now I know some of you guys may be thinking, oh well that would never work for me, I can't phase bullets or my body through a ramp because my ping is too high. Well, I don't know if you can tell in these clips because it might be kinda small, but almost all of them are when he was playing on NA East, and the entire time he's hovering around 120-ish ping. So unless your ping is significantly higher than that, which I doubt is the case for 99.9% of players, this strategy should definitely work for you. Another really interesting thing that Mohammed does to take advantage of aim assist is sneaking up on players. When I think of really great aggressive players, I basically think of people who just sprint towards every person they see, break and replace their wall, make an edit, maybe phase into the box, and just absolutely destroy that poor enemy. They don't care that the enemy knows that they're getting pushed because they know they can outplay that player 9 out of 10 times, if not more. However, since Mohammed isn't the most mechanically talented player in the world by any stretch of the imagination, he has to be a lot more tactical at times. One of the main ways he does this is by crouch walking up to the enemy's box and then immediately spraying in. Footsteps in Fortnite are pretty loud in general, so if you just sprint up to a box, any player with a brain is going to hear you, and then they'll turn towards your direction and start turbo building to protect themselves. Now, like I alluded to earlier, you now need to make some sort of play to overcome that, which can be difficult if the player inside the box is solid. But if you can sneak up without them hearing you by crouch walking, you'll be able to spray down the wall and get into their box to barrel stuff them before it's even humanly possible for them to react. I already talked about how I was playing on over 100 ping in most of these clips, so this is also a great high ping method because the enemy doesn't even get a chance to build most of the time. So the thing about abusing aim assist is, once you're right into the enemy's body, pretty much anyone can do it. But most of the time, the hard part is getting yourself in that situation, and that little trick that Mohammed uses is a great way to do that. The final thing I want to quickly mention about Mohammed regarding aim assist abuse is actually his movement. So he does a lot of really interesting things when he gets into point blank range fights that makes him harder to hit, and it also makes it more likely for his shots to land. The first thing he does is always moving forward towards the enemy. Even though he could probably still hit a good amount of SMG shots at 2 to 3 meters away, he wants to turn 2 to 3 meters into 0 meters every time. I would say a solid 50% of his kills end with him literally touching the enemy's player model as he fires his final shot. But the interesting thing he does is that he doesn't just move straight towards them. As he's going forward, he does so in somewhat of a zigzag movement pattern. And I think the fairly obvious reason for doing that is because it makes him a little harder to hit. Plus, the biggest positive of this compared to jumping or crouch spamming is that it's a lot easier. You're going to be moving forward with your thumbstick anyway, so slightly strafing while doing so is barely going to take any extra effort. And I think this will be an especially effective tactic for non-claw, non-paddle players that jump with A. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. This video is about abusing aim assist, so I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at taking advantage of aim assist? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.